Good evening and welcome to the Away Days Man United season review. This is the last one we'll be doing, so it's only right. We got King Kojo in the building. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man, bro. How you doing?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. We're just both out here surviving, man. Are you
Mm,
excited for the Euros coming up?
very, man. Very. I've had enough. Quite frankly, I had enough of club football in it for certain reasons.
That's
So it is what it is, bro. We're here for internationals. I'm not even supporting anybody. Truth be told, I just want to
yeah.
see ball. I just want to see
You
ball,
just want to see good football, man. That's what it's about. Obviously, me, I'm gonna be supporting England, but I just want to see good football from everyone. To be fair, so let's hope we get that.
man.
So yeah, today we're just gonna just run through Man United season, man. It was an interesting season. Um, I know I met you around January times, and that was an interesting time. The first stream that we was on together, and you stormed off. You stormed off. You stormed off, and that was the first. So that means
Oh,
it's been a crazy up and down. So if you could just give us a few words on how you felt the season, what you felt about the season, and then we'll crack on to rating the players.
um, I went into the season expecting nothing, and the way the season ended is why I expected absolutely nothing from this team. Um, I can't. You know, United fans love using the word progress. I can't use that word. I can't because finishing in the top four again, whether you're second, third, or fourth, you accomplish the same thing. So it's first, second doesn't mean a thing to me. You can talk about points improvement. I can tell you that we conceded more goals. It's stuff like that that just doesn't get me excited about finishing in the top four. And then you go to a final. Well, you already know. You know the rest of the story for that one as well. I'm sure we'll get into that later on. So
Yeah, no, definitely.
yeah, that's the best way I can describe it. Expected nothing and literally came away with nothing.
I mean, it's mad because you finished. I mean, you've probably finished higher than everybody thought you was gonna do. To be fair,
Mm.
I thought you'd finish fourth. I thought you'd make top four, but I did think. So I thought you'd finish third because I had Man City to win the league, Liverpool, Man United, and then Chelsea. Because I just thought Chelsea made quite a few signings and they weren't going to all bed in together and make a title challenge this season. But they're looking to where they ended the season. They're looking extra spicy as well.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, like you say, man, it's sometimes you just gotta expect nothing, and that helps you get by, man. Because some people have these mad high expectations, and then they're just let down. So it's good that at the moment you're seeing where you are and being realistic about what's going on. Because I don't feel like everybody is. So it's nice to know that you're being a bit realistic. Um, so yeah, we're gonna get on with the rating your squad. What we're gonna do, we're gonna just only rate the players that have played 10 league games or more. Um, so you had four goalkeepers: David De Gea, Lee Grant, Romero, and Henderson. Obviously, only Henderson and De Gea played more than 10 games. So let's talk about De Gea. How did you feel he performed this season?
I actually feel it was actually right. You know, United fans like
Mm,
to exaggerate things about him not coming, and there is truth to it. He doesn't claim crosses. He's not very vocal. He's not the most commanding of goalkeepers, but
he
they
saves the
just
ball.
yeah, he's a definitely good, definitely a fantastic shot stopper. But
Yeah.
the thing about Henderson and De Gea is they've just because De Gea sort of went on the decline. United fans got a bit impatient, and in terms of Henderson is ready or so called ready. You know he should be the number one now and all of that. When De Gea played this season, he played well,
Hmm.
especially against Roma in the second leg, a game that the first leg we absolutely hammered them, and somehow in the second leg we couldn't come away with a devastating loss. Lot he made a lot of crazy saves to
Yeah.
keep the game to get the tie it down. We lost that second leg 3-2, where Man United overachieved. We'll get there. Trust me, we did not overachieve at all. So look, I think it was good. I'll just say I think it was good. If you ask me for a number out of 10, I'd just probably give him a 6.
Yeah.
I think that's an okay number for the season for him.
Fair, fair. And Henderson?
Henderson's also a 6. Henderson has not been as fantastic as a lot of United fans like to claim, they're getting excited about him coming to claim crosses and that. There's still a lot he has to work on. Still a lot he has to work on. And I'm going to say this, and I've said it before, and I hope I'm wrong, but right now he smells a bit of Joe Hart to me. And that's not, and I guess that's not a huge disrespect because Joe Hart's a Premier League winner.
Yeah.
But at some point, he was also kind of found out very quickly by Pep Guardiola. So he got a higher caliber of manager. He had good managers before him, but he had a higher caliber of manager who said, listen, you can't do a certain thing for me and you got to be replaced. Henderson is not great at bringing the ball out of his feet. Henderson is not. He's not. For me, he's not even a commanding presence like that. I just think he's a bit more commanding than De Gea, but he's not very commanding.
This is one of the things that really annoyed me because you kind of alluded to it there about keepers not bringing the ball out with their feet and stuff. But I sort of look back and I think Oliver Kahn, David Seaman, Peter Schmeichel, it was just about commanding your box and it was about saving the ball. And it was about not putting your team in danger. It's about saving your team. And I think a lot of emphasis now is that they're saying keepers are not good because they can't use their feet. And I'm like, David De Gea's thing is shot stopping. That is his thing. And he's been the best in the Premiership for the last 8 to 10 years at shot stopping. That's what he does. And for me, I rate him highly because he does what he's supposed to do, which is stop the ball from going in the net. And I mean, obviously he has made mistakes, and I don't know, with him, I feel like the whole Real Madrid Courtois thing, I think that's been playing on his mind because I think he thought he was leaving for Real Madrid a couple seasons back. And it's kind of been since then that we've seen him have a little decline. But if you was pushing me for who out of him and Henderson, I'll be picking him all day. Henderson was good for Sheffield United because they're Sheffield United. He's going to look good. If he's making saves for Sheffield United, you're going to look bloody good, aren't you? So, he's young. He's got time to grow as well.
The crazy thing is, I actually agree. I'm not going to lie to you. Genuinely, I actually agree with you. The crazy thing about it is, for me, is I don't like conforming to what football is now. By the end of the day, what football is now is whether you're a goalkeeper or a defender, the first thing, or one of the first things they look for anyway, is you being able to do a lot more of your feet than your primary job of being a shot stopper, handling the ball in the air, commanding the box, whatever, or defender, your marking, your positioning, all of that. Passing is now a thing. And it's like, I hear what you're saying, but this ain't it. You know what I mean? Like, we watch defenders now, and trust me, we'll get to the defenders.
Yeah.
Trust me, we're getting there. I look at the defenders and I'm like, you're not doing your actual first job. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. So I agree with you. I do prefer defenders still, but that's what it is right now, isn't it?
Yeah. Big up Charlotte in the building as well. I mean, that's just one thing that's been annoying me. And it's been annoying me for last few seasons, but it's been annoying me last few days where I've seen people talking about these things, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me because I mean, me and you talk about this all the time about where football is now and where it was before. As much as people have their reservations about, all right, let's get on to him. Let's move on to the right back position. We're going to talk about Wan-Bissaka. As much as people have their reservations about the guy, they're always about him going forward. Which for me, again, like you're saying, okay, these things now in the modern day footballer, you need to be able to, do a bit more than actually just defend. But I always think if you've got someone that is good at a job, why not just have that person good at the job, but then make your team, build around your team around that. So if you know that you've got someone that doesn't get forward as much as, say, Trent Alexander or whatever, then for me, that means you go out and sign a right midfielder or right winger that does that job.
Yeah.
Instead of relying on one person, relying on your right back to be getting up and down on a mad one, and then he's getting slated for not being able to get forward. When essentially, one-on-one duels, there's not many better, if in the Premiership at the moment, at right back than Wan-Bissaka. Me personally, I'm not a massive fan of him.
Yeah.
Not a massive fan of him, but in terms of right back and doing what he's actually supposed to do, at the moment, I think he's top for one-on-ones. I don't think there's many better than him. I mean, I was watching Trent yesterday for England. The guy just falls asleep. When it comes to defending, the guy, he literally falls asleep. Yeah, so
Yep.
I don't know. How do you feel he's played this season?
Not gonna lie. Okay. It's two things about him. I'll get to the criticisms first before I go to the positives. Actually, no. Let's start the positives. Okay, you're right. He is the best one-on-one defensive fullback, I guess I would say, or best fullback one-on-one in the defensive in the defensive position in the league. One of the best in Europe. I will go that far as to say that. But again, my questions about him hasn't been going forward this season. Actually, he's been defensive, and when I say that, a lot of people are like, "What are you talking about?" For me, it's like his positioning is scary for me sometimes. I get it that he used to be a winger when he was young. He became a right back. When it's one-on-one, when you're coming straight at him, he knows how to deal with you. But that's not the only aspect of defending that you need to be good at. A lot of our goals we conceded this season have come from his side. A lot of those goals have come when a ball is crossed from Luke Shaw's side and the ball's too high for the centre-backs to get. So you're hoping that your right-back is in the position behind you to compensate for you guys not being able to get there. And he's missing. The game against Leipzig was a damning game for him because they terrorized this side every single time. They went for him because they realized he's not in position. He will lose you a lot. And if you just play a bit of one-turn, yes, he does need help on that side because Greenwood is not a natural right winger. Rashford is not a natural right winger. Daniel James is not a natural right winger. But I would be more forgiving if you were in position and the fact was you just weren't getting help. The fact that you are not where you're supposed to be sometimes scares me. So he needs to improve on that. I actually think he's done well going forward this season. I'm not expecting big numbers for him.
Yeah.
We talk about modern day footballer. For me, I don't hate that term, but I don't like it because we talk about fullbacks not doing these things before, but then me and you can go back to Dani Alves. We can go back to Cafu and Roberto Carlos. We can go back to Ashley Cole. Gary Neville every now and then used to go and bomb forward. We can go back to Ian Hart from Leeds. We can talk about Gabriel Hensey when he came to United and went to Real Madrid. Players have done this. You know what I'm saying? It's just there's more emphasis on fullbacks doing it, but in reality, it's not emphasis. It's Liverpool. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andrew Robertson. And then more recently at Arsenal is Kieran Tierney. But before Kieran Tierney, Ashley Cole was doing it. Before Ashley Cole was there, you had Winterburn and what's the other one? Dixon. They were a bit more defensive, but they were also capable of going forward. So these men were capable of doing this. So for him, I'm not expecting him to do crazy things going forward. I just want him to improve on his timing of runs because I feel like he doesn't think before he goes. So when he gets, he's in a difficult position to do more.
Yeah.
Once in a while, that he finds himself in a position where he can actually do damage, and when he's in a position to do damage, you will actually find that his crosses are actually pretty good. He will find his player, and this season, I think he scored 2 goals, getting into the box with late runs. So he's definitely got something to his game. I just feel like he's just lacking, just like a lot of United players that we'll get to as well. There's a lack of maturity in his game. I feel like he really enjoys the one-on-ones, but it's the little things that he has to add to his game that will make him go from good to exceptional. But
because you alluded to the positioning thing, and I think it was Maldini that said if I have to make a slide tackle, it means I've made a mistake. So basically, he's saying he's out of position, and sometimes when I watch him, I feel like he's doing it on purpose just to make that challenge. Like, I don't know if he wants to have that. He just wants to have that big slide tackle every single time he's one-on-one. And sometimes I just think if you could just stand them up, you can nip the ball and start attacks. But when you make a slide tackle, there's only 2 things that are going to happen, really. It's going to bounce off you and go out for a throw, or it's just going to go back into play. You're not going to start an attack from a slide tackle. So I do think a lot of the stuff is a bit harsh because, like I said, you don't have a natural right winger or right midfielder in front of him. So a lot of the time, teams, and then when you don't have a natural defensive midfielder as well, he sometimes he has no cover. He has no cover, so it's two on ones against him literally all the time because whoever plays against you knows that Fred and McTominay they're not really defensive minded like that, and they know that Greenwood or James or whoever Rashford isn't getting back to help. So, some of it is his fault, some of it is tactics, and some of it's just that other players are just, they sometimes you just need that desire to help your team out. And I think some of the top teams, with the exception, of Chelsea at the moment and Man City and Liverpool, I don't think some of the top teams really are playing for each other, which is quite a sad thing to watch sometimes. We move on to the left back because a lot of people saying he's been the best left back in the league this season. Mr. Shaw made 32 appearances this season. From the Shaw from 3-4 years ago, this is a completely different guy. Do we give Ole credit for that, or do we just think, okay, Shaw's been fit, so this is nice, just proving to us how good he is? We got Conrad.
Oh yeah, he's active. I like him. Good guy. I'll say it's a bit of both. I think Luke Shaw showed a glimpse of this form before his injury when he had Van Gaal as manager. So we always knew that it was there. Now, it's taken him a long time to, sort of get to his best after that injury. I understand it does take a while for some people to really get back into their stride. And he's lucky that the club has had the patience to stick with him. The one thing that Ole's done is Ole's man management is better than, for the team, is better than what Jose's was. So he's enjoyed Ole because Ole's a lot more softer with the team. Ole's a lot more caring and giving in terms of opportunities with the team, whereas Mourinho hasn't really got time. He's not here to build your confidence. He wants you to say, I'm a Man United player. I want to go win trophies. Let's go out there and do this. He ain't got time to cuddle you too tough and all that. Basically, what Harry Kane best said it was like, Jose Mourinho just wanted this team to be men. And in key moments, the people that we need as leaders lack the leadership to take us forward. Mourinho didn't see a leader in Shaw, so Shaw, unfortunately for him, wasn't looked at. But Shaw's always had this in him. I'm glad that he's found it. He still had his shaky moments this season, but overall, it's been a massive improvement from what we've seen post-injury. So,
yeah. Again, What was you going to give him, sorry?
No, so I'll give him the credit more than Ole. I think
Ole
got a smile on his face, but that's it.
No, I mean, again, same with Wan-Bissaka. Sometimes just defensively, you're watching them and just thinking, like, your positioning, do you understand what he's supposed to be doing? And I guess that's down to coaching as well. Like, I don't feel like Ole, when it comes to defending, really is drilling that into them. I think it was in the cup final where they got a couple of crosses in and they were just playing 1-2s around Shaw, and it was literally because Shaw was just out of position. Like he wasn't close enough to the centre back, so they were just mugging him off. And I think that's been happening quite a bit this season. I think, like you're saying, once they get that cross in, then it's that if the defense center, if Maguire misses it, then it's pretty much a goal, isn't it? Because Wan-Bissaka isn't covering and Lindelof just gets bullied off the ball, innit? So if Man United can iron that out, then I think they're gonna have a successful defense. Let's get on to Lindelof. I mean, he got bullied. Was it Burnley? I think it was a Burnley game, innit?
How many games do you want? How much time you got? How much time you got? Lindelof. You know what, bro? The season before this season, at the end I praised him. I praised him heavily because I feel like a lot of United fans weren't giving him the credit that was due. His positioning is very good. He knows how to make a tackle, and his marking is also very good. In terms of the aspects of a defender that you want,
Yeah.
He's got it. But then comes the other part of it, when you then have to make the challenge. And 7 times out of 10, or maybe 6 or 7 times out of 10, he makes the wrong decision. It's
the wrong decision, isn't it?
And it's either him getting bullied or he's just not aggressive enough.
Yeah.
It's annoying because he's literally, for me, he's got the attributes to be one of the very best. It's his application that denies him from being one of the very best. How can you be someone that is always in position, someone that's always found his man, someone that knows how to tackle well? You've even got passing range for people that get gassed about passing. You've played 2 excellent long passes to Marcus Rashford to make runs onto that was so good that he has to take 1 touch and then apply a finish. Like, you have literally what you want in a defender, but then he's weak on it. In the air, he gets humbled far too many times. It's scary that an inconsistent in fitness and in form Eric Bailly, people are begging for this guy to just play at least 5 games so they don't have to see Liverpool for 5. That's scary to me. I really love the guy, but this season wasn't it. He dropped a 5 out of 10. He dropped a 5 out of 10 all day this season.
5 out of 10, yeah. Let's get on to Eric. He played, 12 games this season? And I'm guessing most of those would have been subs. When he was in the team, though, he kept 3 clean sheets. It's hard to rate him because, like you're saying, he didn't play many games. Yeah. Most of them would have been him just coming off the bench as sub and stuff. But how highly do you rate him?
Not that highly, I'm not gonna lie. When he first came to United, and I'm not gonna even deny it because the archives are there, I was excited. I watched him in Spain. So I watched him play for Villarreal. I was a big fan of his because, bear in mind, also he was also fit when he was there. Tackling, dominant in the air, strong, aggressive. I know sometimes his aggressiveness is a bit over the top, but I love that he had a bit of nastiness to him still. They don't have many nasty defenders that really want to get at you and let you know that, someone called British, leave my mark on you, know that I'm here kind of thing. But he had it, and technically very sound, but honestly, United fans this season screaming when he played those 2 weeks when we were top of the table, he was centre back with Maguire. And I'm like, okay, and then what happened next? I don't care about 2 weeks. 2 weeks is not a season. You have a 38-week season if you want to put it like that. You have 38 games to play. 2 games or 4 games because you played 2 every week doesn't mean a damn thing to me. Go out there, be fit, be consistent for the majority of the season. Then we'll talk about Eric Bailly properly. Until he can provide me that, for me, I'm not going to lie to you, bro, it's either going to be a 6 or below. I can't rely on him.
Yeah.
I'll give, honestly, right now, I'm going to lie to you. This season, he hasn't really been fantastic either. The Villarreal game, trust me, he was not fantastic whatsoever.
Did he get subbed off in that game? Was that tired?
He got subbed for the penalties.
Oh, penalties, yeah.
Yeah, he got subbed for the penalties. So, honestly, if you ask me for a number, he can get a 5 as well. Yeah.
I mean, I can't disagree. Big up Joshy in the building. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a tough one because after that, no more of your defenders played more than 10 games.
Oh, the captain.
Sorry, Maguire. Sorry, yeah. I think he's been unfairly criticised this season. There has been some dodgy things on free kicks in terms of where he's holding the line and organising, but take him out of the team and automatically I feel like I wouldn't say you've lost the game, but it definitely gives the other team a boost, especially when it's coming to things like balls into the box and stuff. All of a sudden, they're confident that they're winning these balls because Maguire's everywhere when the ball's actually put into the box. He's one of the best at getting that ball out of the box, isn't it? But I think with Maguire, it was the cost. If he cost you £30 million, no one would have anything bad to say. But
Yeah.
You know, he had that English tax. He didn't ask to cost 80 odd million or whatever it is. So he's just doing what he's doing as a footballer. And I think he's being judged unfairly because of the cost. I feel like, honestly, I feel like he's had a good season, to be honest. What about you?
I completely agree. I actually think he's been one of our best players this season. He had a shaky start, just like everybody else in the team. We conceded 11 goals in the first 3 games. We lost 3-1 at home to Crystal Palace. Everyone bar Van der Beek had a stinker, and that's because he had 5 minutes yet again. And he scored in his debut. And then the 6-1 was an absolute disaster class. But other than that, he's been colossal. Oh, colossal's hard. No, that's too heavy. he's been very good. He's been very good. Very good. I'm happy with him, and this is coming from someone that is one of his biggest critics, because I never wanted him in the first place, and it wasn't to do with the price. Yeah. It was to do with what I thought. I thought that he had. You can't. How do I explain this? You're either blessed with or blessed without pace and agility. Unfortunately for him, he's not the quickest and he doesn't move very fast. That's just a physical thing. You grow up, you learn how to use your body. I want him to maximize the things he's good at, being commanding in the air, positioning, tackling, marking, just like every defender. I want that to do the same thing. And I feel like this season he's done a lot more of that. And I was happy about that, because last season I saw a lot of things that scared the living hell out of me. But, this season was a major improvement, and I said it at the beginning of the show about Man United fans can talk about improvements, this, that, and the other. We conceded more goals though this season, but he wasn't to blame for the majority of those, and that makes me happy. It makes me happy. It makes me feel that I can really look at him as a defender that I can rely on. And now when people ask, what defender are you going to buy to partner Maguire? I can now answer that question with get this person, because before I was saying get me 2 centre backs and let Maguire be like a club captain like Gary Neville was. I don't care. So I'm happy with him this season. For me, he's a strong 8 out of 10 this season. I think he's done very well.
Yeah.
I got nothing to complain about. The price tag thing, football fans just struggle to split play and tag. That's what it is. But
that's what it is, yeah.
You can understand prices are going to go through the roof these days, and it is what it is. So, yeah, I'm delighted with his season.
Cool. The man Paul Pogba, 26 appearances, 5 were a sub, 3 goals, 3 assists. For me, just on stats, that's not good enough. But obviously, he's had injuries. For me, one of the weirdest things about not even just Paul Pogba, just the situation in general, I just think, one, if you're going to sign a 90-odd or 80-odd million player, for me, that's you're building your team around that player. Right. So you do everything you can do to maximize what that player can do. And since he's been back, which he's been back, for 4 years, 5 years, 5 seasons now?
4 seasons, I think, yeah.
So he came back in 2016. So he's played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons now back at Man United. Yeah. And one of those seasons he hit 13 goals. But I don't think ever once I felt they've built the team around him to get the best out of him. Like, they always play him wherever they can because he's Paul Pogba and he should be able to play wherever because he's got the ability to do it. But that doesn't make sense to me. Just because someone's got the ability to do it, that's not getting the best out of them. And I can't remember a time or a period where I thought, okay, they're getting the best out of him because they're playing to his strengths. And again, this season, cup final, he gets moved back, obviously, because last minute injury. But playing him from the left, playing him from right, playing him from here, playing him from there, it don't make sense to me. And for me, he's the most naturally gifted player you've got, but it just doesn't. I don't know what's going on with him. But were you happy with him this season?
Yeah, I was satisfied. What you said. Funny enough, and it's funny that Arsenal fans are saying this to me because the only other person that said that what you said to me is Cahill. Me and Kel had a good chat after one podcast, I'll say about 6-7 months ago. And he said to me, like, bro, like, deep it. For when it comes to Paul Pogba, Man United fans and non-Man United fans want him to do literally everything. Pogba is one of the only players ever in history of the football that you expect him to defend superb, you expect him to tackle superb, mark superb, position superb, track run superbly, but then also do box to box, also do deep lie, also doing wing play, also doing beat free players, also doing assists, also scoring goals from 30 yards, 25 yards, free kicks, penalties. There's literally not one player that does all that. Messi doesn't do that. Messi's not a defensive player. He's a forward. And when he goes forward, he does everything because he's that talented. Ronaldo going forward in his prime, because I feel like he's sort of out of his prime now, was doing everything going forward. But very rarely did you see him at the back. And that's only because it was last minute of the game, maybe to protect the lead. He's tall, he can head the ball. Other than that, he wasn't doing defensive duty. I understand what I'm saying is forwards and this one's a central midfielder, but the fact is, even the greatest footballers in history, you don't expect them to do everything because they're not supposed to do every single job.
Bro, I don't remember Zidane on a mad one, slide tackling, doing a mad defensive work, heading the ball out the box.
Because it never happened.
It never happened. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Graham Souness. I don't know if it's Gary Neville. I don't know if it's Roy Keane. I don't know if people are listening to these guys and just listening and just running with whatever they're saying, because the way I look at it, and again, it is partly down to Man United, the ownerships, the managers. If you've got Paul Pogba, go out and sign Kante. Go out and sign Partey. Go out and sign whoever, Ndidi. Go out and sign someone that is going to take the defensive burden. If you want to play him in that position, that is going to take the defensive burden. But for me, if you're going to play two defensive midfielders, just make sure Paul Pogba is nowhere near, or he doesn't have to defend.
That's it.
Like, all this, again, we keep talking about this modern day footballer, and it annoys the hell out of me because I never saw Thierry Henry defend. Never saw him close people. If he did close people down, it's because he lost the ball. So if he lost the ball, he would do that mad thing where he chased the ball like a madman and went to try and win it back. But that's not what you wanted. You wanted him to be ready for when that ball come, then he's not tired. He's got that energy just to burst and perform his magic. So again, with Paul Pogba, I think that's the same thing. You've got to get everybody doing things around him so he can shine and win you the games like he was doing with France, that he was doing with Juventus.
And bro, sorry to cut you off, but literally what you said just there, that sentence there, literally describes the best. I have these discussions. I'm like, do you think Messi and Barca would have had the same success if he didn't have Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets behind him?
Yeah.
When Ronaldo went to Real Madrid and he was scoring all those goals for the first 3 years, but they weren't winning anything, you were laughing your head off saying Ronaldo's gone there and done nothing, Messi. You didn't want to take him into notice that he had people like Fernando Gago behind him in midfield, Royston Drenthe instead of Marcelo. But as soon as they saw that midfield and they got a consistent backline, what did he do? You mentioned Thierry Henry. If Thierry Henry didn't have Patrick Vieira and Gilberto Silva, for example, and he had Matty Holland, shout out Matty Holland from Charlton back in the day, but Matt Holland and I don't know,
Savage, them man there.
Savage or Dennis Myers or something. He's not having the same level of success.
Yeah.
It's football. There's not one person in football that does it alone. This is just everyone has their key man, and the job of the club and of the team and the manager is to build the players, build the club and the team around that player. Make sure the pieces around them are hopefully just as good, or at least they are consistent enough at their jobs, so that your so-called luxury player can go out there and really express themselves. I don't believe in luxury players. I don't believe in that. Luxury player to me sounds like what it is essentially. The team does everything, and then this guy does one job, and he gets to shine. So Ozil doesn't track back, and Ozil doesn't do this, but he can play the through ball and create a goal. That's why it's luxury. They forget that when Ozil was playing at Real Madrid and Jose Mourinho, the guy was tracking back like a madman. He could do it. He just didn't need to do it at Arsenal because that wasn't his job at Arsenal. That doesn't suddenly make him a luxury player that you can't fit in, or you have to fit in a certain formation Just build the. If you buy a superstar, build the team around the superstar.
That's
When
it. That's all I ask, man.
we bought Wayne Rooney at 18. I think we all knew that Wayne Rooney was going to be the superstar of Man United. Suddenly, Ronaldo burst into the scene, became a madman. So the team was then Ronaldo's team. Ronaldo left, Rooney took the mantle again, and he hit 30 goals in his first season as a striker. Like a pure striker. No Van Nistelrooy, no Saha, no Smith, no whatever. So with Pogba, I just want fans to apply that same logic. I don't know how you can look at all the footballers in the world and then it comes to this one guy. And then what you said Souness and them, man. And you know, when they talk about a player and they say he has everything, I'm like, you're a fucking liar. You are such a liar. No player has everything. And no one does. You can talk about complete players. Yes, I get that. In terms of Gerrard was able to defend very well and also go forward very well. Gerrard wasn't fantastic defensively. He was good defensively, but he was brilliant going forward. Excellent going forward. Or he can control a game from midfield anyway. Paul Scholes had everything. Did you see Paul Scholes tackle?
Yeah.
How terrible was his tackling?
He got a yellow card for it, innit?
Every time. When Scholes tackle, you called it a striker's challenge. Scholes stopped being a striker at the age of 20 years old. And we called it a striker's challenge to this day. I don't like going to bat for this guy all the time because Pogba at times does drop stinkers, and I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah, it does. Everybody does, don't they?
But we got to be fair in our criticisms. But anyway, you know what? This season, I'll give him a 6.5. I think he's been okay.
6.5, mad thing. Fred.
I'm not even going to lie to you. Yeah, I'm not even going to lower my expectation. I'm not going to lower my expectations for this team. Fred hasn't had a fantastic season or good season. I don't like when people say that. That's a lie. You're lowering your level because that's what it is right now. He's not a terrible player. Again, our guys are there. When we signed him, I was excited. Why? Because what he was doing at Shakhtar is not what he was doing here or what he is doing here. At Shakhtar, we saw someone that hit free kicks, someone that controlled games, someone that beat players for fun, and his decision-making 9 times out of 10 was superb. That's why Man City wanted him. People forget that.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, Man City wanted him, didn't they? I was going to say that.
But he's come to United, and I don't know. Firstly, again, United fans are screaming about Mourinho. Mourinho didn't want him. I'm going to say this right now. It's on record. It's there. There's a lot of places. They didn't want him because they didn't think he could adapt to the Man United, the way of playing that way that he wanted to play, rather, sorry. And if they paid notice in Mourinho's first season with him, we hardly saw Fred.
Yeah.
So Fred was not one of the players that he was begging for. Has he done okay this season? I believe he has. But when people say he's had good games, it's because he wins the ball quite a bit in those games and he chases very hard. They also forget to mention that after he wins the ball, he carelessly gives it away again. so it's pointless possession and dispossession.
I think he flourishes in Spain. I think he flourishes in most other countries. I just don't think for whatever reason over here just doesn't suit him. Man United doesn't suit him. So yeah, go and give your obviously
give him a number. 5.
5. Yeah, that's fair. Daniel James. I don't know if it's fair to.
Has he played 10 games off the bench?
He's played 15. He's played 15, but 4 were subs.
Wow.
3 goals, so same as Paul Pogba.
I to this day I don't care about stats. Stats for me.
you have to bend there when you see that, innit?
Yeah, I know, but for me that's a complimentary. Like I already know that Thomas Muller, for example, had a great season at Bayern Munich, but if he scores 10 goals, that don't mean shit to me. Like I know he was good. I don't want to be too harsh on him. I actually think he gets done badly by Ole, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I'm more on his side. I think Ole plays him in games that you can't maximize his talents. Like, for example, in the cup final, went to 101 minutes to make a sub, and then when you bring him on against a team that plays so deep that they're not allowing runs in behind, you bring on a speedster whose game is not dribbling. It's running behind, but you bring him on. You're just doing the guy dirty. So
I understand that.
I'll give him a 4, but it's not his fault. I feel like if he had more competence around him, he would actually hit a 6 or 7 season.
Yeah, I hear that. Matic again played 20 games, but 9 were as a sub. So he started 11 matches.
Matic.
I can't remember him. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, 4. No, yeah, 4. Yeah, 4. Just because again,
his
not
legs are
really
gone in
effective.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just his legs are gone. It's a bit harsh, is what I
yeah,
want
that's
him.
it. Yeah,
Um,
that's it.
Scott McTominay, 32 appearances this season.
Yeah, United fans might kill me for this one, but I actually think he's been good. I actually think he's been good, and United fans don't like him. They hate him actually. He's he's that is the other. And again, yeah, he's had some awful games this season, but he hasn't been that bad. I don't
You
think
know
he's
what?
been.
Not in terms of ability or what they do, but he reminds me of Mason Mount. In
Okay.
terms of that, he gives 100% every match, and he always looks like the one that's trying. And even when he's trying, people still find something bad to say about him. There was
Mm,
games this season that I watched of United, and I thought, "Rah, McTominay is the only one like really going out for this, trying to get a result." And that's on the same pitch as Fernandez and Pogba and whoever, all these big money signings. But it's McTominay that looks like, and again, it's probably because he's come from the youth team and stuff, so his heart is really in it, and obviously he loves United. I think, like you're saying, I think sometimes he just gets blamed for things that are not even his fault. And
yeah.
again, it's like you're saying as well. It's just like if it's not a big name signing or a big money signing, automatically you're rubbish. And
Yeah.
I think that's the sort of thing that happens to McTominay. I don't think he's been bad. It's been one of those seasons where you could watch. I've probably watched every one of Man United's games. It's one of those seasons where we get free football, so we can watch it. We can watch everything in it. So it's a bit easier to talk about other people's teams this season because we've watched all the matches. And I've always watched him and thought, okay, you're not world class. You're never going to be world class. But I can see why you're in the team. I can see what you bring to the team, and I can feel like you're going to be that Fletcher where you're not going to really let your team down. And there's certain matches that are there for you to play in. And I honestly, I don't think he's had a bad season. The Man United fans, because they want whoever, are going to say he's had a bad season, but I don't think he has had a bad season. To be fair,
I agree. Yours, I feel like he's another player that's being used wrong. Scott McTominay is not a defensive midfielder. He shouldn't be playing defensive midfield roles. He's another box to box. I actually think we have a similar issue to Arsenal because Partey can be a defensive midfielder, but he is not at his best as a defensive midfielder. People forget that he played part of a 4-4-2. He's had more of a defensive role. They didn't play 2 defensive midfielders. They played 2 central midfielders, and then 2 wingers, and then 2 strikers usually at Atletico. So again, I feel like he's a player that's not being used properly. When he played his actual role in one game this season, he destroyed Leeds in the first 10 minutes of the game. So, it's same as Fred, because Fred is not a defensive midfielder either. So maybe I
think that's the issue, that you're playing. You're essentially losing out on a player because you're playing these two to try and make one player.
Yes.
So these two are essentially trying to be one player. So what Kante can do alone, you're trying to get these two just to do the one Kante job in it, and it essentially means you lose out a player on the pitch because you're playing 2 players when only one of them, if any, should be playing. To be fair, So yeah, I think again, like you're saying, it is harsh to mark these two because again, it's not their. I don't think it's their fault. They're playing as defensive midfielders when their first thought is to really get forward to help create attacks and not defend. And I think that goes against them. But I think he's had a 5 or 6. I'll say he's had a 6 this season.
I agree. I agree. 6. Yeah.
This one is shocking. He's again played 19 games. Oh, okay, but I don't even know. I don't think we can rate him, but we're gonna because he's played 19 games, but 15 were sub appearances. Donny van der Beek.
All I'm gonna say is I feel sorry for him. That's it.
Yeah, again, something dodgy's gone on there. I don't think Solskjaer obviously didn't want him. They saw it. It was a decent for him and how he's been playing recently, or how he's playing for Ajax and Holland. That it made sense because it was a very good price for him.
Yeah.
But then it's not what United needed, and it's probably not what Ole wanted. And I think Ole now has been a bit disrespectful in that he's just not playing him because it's obviously didn't really want him in it. So it's been unfair. So I don't even know if we can give him a mark because it's very unfair to give him a mark.
I thought to be cheeky and give him a 10, but
10 for staying around and not complaining. To be honest,
literally. No, I can't rate him. Yeah.
This guy here, I think he has more fans. I think more people support him than actually support Man United. Anthony Martial.
Listen. Let me just say this right now. There's not even discuss. Free.
So he's made 22 appearances, four goals, 3 assists. Again, like I say, stats don't really mean nothing. But in terms of when I've watched him, I wanted this guy at Arsenal, and up until last season, I still wanted him because I thought, you know what, if you play this guy in the right position, and again, he's one of those players that you kind of have to build things around. But for a top team, you can't have someone that plays on confidence for a striker. Like some teams can get away with it, but I feel he's a confidence player, and at Man United, you can't have that, especially when it's the player that's out there to get your goals. I just don't think he's looked interested too tough. I don't think I don't know if he's got that relationship with Ole. I don't know. It just, to me, he just looks like a man that needs another move now. Yeah, I wouldn't give him more than a 5, to be fair.
Boy, 3 for me all day. I've bought out of the hype, and I bought out of the hype a long time ago. He's not special. I don't even know what his best position is. He says he's a striker. He doesn't make runs in behind. He doesn't have variation to his game. He's always hold up play. United fans, he brings others into play. I'm like, yeah. So did Andy Carroll. I don't. It doesn't mean a thing to me. Your job as a striker is to score goals, and he doesn't have the hunger to score goals. The hunger is not there. It is just that simple. He might have scored 20 plus last season, and that's great. But he didn't follow on this season. He didn't bring performances that excited you. He didn't do anything special. And then he played on the left wing. And again, no variation. You've got, and I hate using PMP because we know what it's about and who he's always used on. But literally, if he used his pace and power and just decided to just go in behind and just ramage defenders, 9 times out of 10, he's killing people. He's destroying them. He's got the ability to dribble and beat players with ease. He's not even been doing that. So if you have not been using your key attribute well enough this season, the rest of them you definitely haven't been doing. His back to goal football doesn't mean a damn thing to me. I really don't care, and I'm trying not to be too harsh on him because I get it. He's also had injury problems this season and all that stuff. Rashford has also been he has been inconsistent this season. But as much as he's been inconsistent, he still hit 20 plus. Again, you have hit 4 league goals. Without Paul Pogba being level with Daniel James. Daniel James is one behind your number 9.
Yeah.
And he's not a key player. He's a squad player at your club. So that's a problem. I'm pretty sure Scott McTominay has more goals or as many goals as Martial.
I think he's got 4 as well, McTominay.
There you go then. Yeah. There you go. For someone that's supposed to be doing defensive midfield role, that's another big problem. So, I bought out the hype a long time ago. This is his first or second good season. And I can hear it already. I can hear people saying, oh, yeah, you said about Martial, but what about Pogba? Trust me, if I go through Pogba seasons at United, Martial doesn't have a clue. Next to Pogba. I'm sorry. He might not be stellar, but he's been better. So I don't want to hear that discussion. Martial was not cutting it. Cavani embarrassed him. And I've said it all day long. I know we need to improve our positions, but if we get a striker, Martial can be a squad player or he can get out.
I hear that. So we're giving him a 3. Rashford, again, I think he's been good in parts, but towards the end of the season, to me sometimes he just looked like he was out on his feet, like he was tired. But
Yeah.
he's got that ability. So I think Ole kept playing him, but I think he needed a rest. And even going to the Euros now, I'm not sure it's the wisest thing, but he's going to be there in it. How would you rate him this season?
I give Pogba a 6.5, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I might give him the same. Yeah, I might give him the same because part of it for me is not his fault. The guy's been injured for a long time. I think if we go back to last season, we're hearing injuries about his back, about his shoulder. This season, it's his shoulder and his ankle. We hear that he's been playing. So just he hasn't played consistently this season because when you're essentially not fit for most of the games, how can I trust you to Cavani got less than? Well, trust me, I'll tell you why Cavani's fine.
He got 10. He got 10 on the dot, Cavani.
There you go. And trust me, I'll tell you why Cavani's fine. Yeah, look, he's like, for example, the miss against Villarreal should have done better. Injury doesn't really account for that. That's just finishing into the back of the net.
Mm-hmm.
But I think overall, considering, and I'm not a stats guy, but the numbers are good for him this season, despite injuries, despite inconsistent form. I think 6.5 is fine. I'll say this one more time about Rashford. He's a good player, potentially great because his decision making is 5 out of 10. If he gets you out to a 7 or 8 out of 10, he's a great player that could potentially become a top, or dare I say maybe world class, but he's got a long way to go.
Greenwood.
7 league goals this season, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm okay with him. I'll give him a 6. I think he didn't. Well, he couldn't play a lot of the games earlier in the season because of him and Phil Foden. Having a bit of an issue. Funny enough, we knew he came back real quick. We're going to get into that discussion though. No, after that, when he came back, I'll say he's not a right winger, he's a striker. And when we start playing him as a striker and he gets into his rhythm, then you'll see the real Greenwood. And that for me is a good thought because he's still kind of productive in the right wing position anyway. So when he gets into his gear as a striker and gets to play, then I'll think he's going to become a top striker for us. But I think 6 is okay for him this season.
Rashford is slap bang average. Manchester hard Manchester, try hard Manchester. Sometimes I don't even know if he's trying hard. Sometimes though, that's one of the things that bugs me about him. I just think if you tried, I think you'd get a lot more out of yourself sometimes. But I don't know. I just don't think he has footballing intelligence. I think that's the one thing about him. Like he doesn't really have a footballing brain for me.
I actually do think he does, but
I honestly think he's Theo Walcott with just techers.
And I had the feeling that name was going to pop up when you said that.
No, because if you look at the numbers, they're pretty much the same.
They're identical. Yeah, they are identical, and that's true.
So I just think he looks like he's got everything, but for some reason it just doesn't click. And again, does he need a move? Does he need to be the main guy at a team, and then things will click for him? Because I think Man United just looks like it's just too big for him. I don't know if he just needs to be fit and everything going right for him, but it just doesn't look.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think after the Euros, when he has the so-called surgery apparently that's planned for him, after the Euros, he needs that surgery might actually be the best thing that happened in his career. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because the guy needs to rest. Like, he genuinely needs to rest. Every footballer needs rest in this world. That you cannot keep going with injuries. I genuinely think Theo could get past his man. Have you seen what? Huh? Have you seen Marcus Rashford? Okay, anyway. Listen, what I'm gonna say is this. Look, I feel like he does have a footballing brain, but I think where he is right now is there's still a level of immaturity to his game. There's still a bit of street football in his game, and he needs.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean, man. It's just
he's become a lot more professional with it. I feel like because we've seen it when he's fit and firing. Like we've seen him play top level games, and I don't care about getting past players and flip flaps and that. I'm talking about literally just going for the kill and being effective. When you're effective, that's what I care about. I care about winning football over attacking or defensive football. As long as you do the things to win the game, I'm good. I just feel like right now he's at a stage where it's not about I feel like he's not trying hard enough. I think he's trying too hard. I think he's trying to do way too much.
I think there's just too much going on in his world right now. The guy's feeding kids, then just doing a madness off the pitch, which for me, we love to see it. We love to see it, and I hope he just carries on doing it. But I just think he's doing it during the season, and when things are not going right, and you're not fully fit, and you're doing extra on top of that,
yes,
I don't know if it's working for him right now. So as much as we love him, and I can't have a bad word to say against Rashford, but I think he needs to just chill for a while, just chill and just get fit, get focused, and come back strong.
I agree.
The last person that has played over 10 games for Man United is Cavani. And I think Cavani is doing what we all know Cavani can do. He's an intelligent footballer. He's always had that thing where he can be a killer, and 8 times out of 10 he is a killer, but there's still times where he fluffs his lines a lot more than he should.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think he's doing more than what people expected, and I think he's doing more for the squad, because I think him being in the squad, I think people just looking at him thinking, this guy's coming over on. I mean, he's a free transfer, 34 years old, and he's showing us how to be winners.
Yeah.
For some of the players, I would be embarrassed that I'm getting shown up by a 34-year-old who probably should have played more games, if we're being honest. Should have started more games. I think he deserved to start more games. But it's been a very good signing, because you're only paying wages, so it's a very, very good signing. Tell us, give us what you feel about it.
I think he's had a 7 out of 10 season. I think you're right. I agree. He should have started a lot more games. I think you would have get a lot more goals from him. I think the best thing about him is he's still kind of, I don't like saying this because old school. You know, he's still making it's about his movement up front. He wants goals. He's desperate for goals. What? Like a punter in Barca bed? Oh my Lord. Oh my goodness. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've missed him in the comments though. He's funny. I've actually missed him. He jokes.
Big up Ryan.
Yeah, shout out Ryan. So I'm gonna shout him as well because next week he's gonna do a Liverpool thing. But I just feel like if he starts more games, he easily gets more goals. He's more desperate for it. United fans, again, they do complain about the lack of creativity in the team, and I believe there is truth towards that. But for me, he makes the best out of it. He's the only one in the team that would have thought about lobbing the goalkeeper from where he did against Fulham. And that's why I basically have missed for years, knowing that we have a forward that Rayan, if you're going to start this fraud Salah Rashford thing, I'm not doing this with you today. I'm not doing it. I'll pull you up on that when I meet you. Trust me. But yeah, no, he's had a good season. He scored in the final as well. So he proved why we brought him in, because again, he wasn't in the position to score the goal, to sniff it and take a chance. And next season, I'm happy they signed a 1-year extension. I do still want another striker, but I worry. Yeah, but I worry less.
35, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But I worry less with him being there, because I know that he'll still provide no matter what. So I'm not expecting 30 from him. I know his age. I know where he is. He's not Ronaldo. He's not Ibrahimovic. Not everybody is. But you've got someone who still lives and breathes goals. And that's the best thing we could ask for. So, and his work ethic and his closing down to this day is still fantastic.
For his age,
So all day, every day, I think a 7.
Yeah, we'll give him a 7. All right, so we just wrapped up there the whole Man United player ratings. Last thing we're going to touch on there is is the cup final or lack of cup final. I don't know. For me, two things bug me about that. Is one, it's a cup final, and I don't think you need to be motivated to play a cup final if you're a big player playing for a big team. Um, a lot of people put a lot of it on Solskjaer, and rightly so. But I think the players just didn't do enough. At the same time, we do need to give respect to the way Villarreal set about their thing. They weren't going to lose that game. They came on the pitch saying we're not losing today by any means, and I was surprised how much they actually attacked in that game. I didn't think we was going to see anything. I mean, they started Baka, and Baka, what, is same age as Cavani or older, 34, 35. You know, they had, what's his name at centre-back? Is it Abidal? He's, again, bloody 35, 36 as well. Yeah. So, you know, they're a real drill machine, but same thing. Arsenal should have beat them in the semi-finals. Man United should have beat them in the finals. Yeah. Let's talk about this.
United fans were taught a lesson in respect for this game. I don't like to toot my own horn, especially when it comes to the detriment of my own fan base and my own fans. Mm-hmm. My fellow fans, rather. They're not my fans. Fellow fans of United. I said, do not underestimate Villarreal and do not underestimate Emery. We have a funny culture in football where we define a manager by their worst tenure at a club and say that's them not good enough or that's them not finished or whatever. You're an Arsenal fan, and before Emery and after Emery, there's a lot of players in that team that you, Cahill, and many other Arsenal fans have had more than enough of. They have let the team down countless times. Some of them have gone and even disrespected the club and some of the fans. We can't let them get away with it. Same thing with Spurs. To this day, Spurs fans are still talking about Jose Mourinho, and I'm like, the guy's gone, and you're still poor. So what is the issue here? Because when Pochettino was telling you that the team needs to be rebuilt, your club didn't heed the warning. Now you're begging for him to come back from PSG after 6 months being there. Now you come to United, and it's on one side, it's Ole. I'll leave Ole last, but again, with United players, same old. The story's still the same. Now, what I'll say about Ole and United is this. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, looking back on this, approached the game wrong. When the lineup came out, I did say I was happy, but I did ask the question to one of I had Semps on my podcast, and I said to him, this team lacks creativity. And he said it's crazy you're saying that because we've got Bruno and Pogba. I'm like, yeah, that's two players. I don't like to go back to the days of this, that, and the other, but even now, when you talk about teams being creative, for Liverpool, you got their fullbacks can be creative. Van Dijk can pass from deep. Fabinho can be creative. Wijnaldum can create. Salah can create. Mane can create. When they want to link up, Firmino can create. We got two players.
Chelsea. You know what? We actually forgot about him. Now I've said it. Now you just mentioned it. We never spoke about Fernandes.
I didn't even notice.
Now I thought about it. Yeah, and I think this game, for me, shows it speaks about Fernandes. For me, the game showed me what I've thought about Fernandes for the whole season. That he's the guy that can bring you magical moments, but he's not a scruff of the neck guy. He's not like, like what Gerrard used to do, where he used to drag his team through games and stuff. That's not the sort of player he is. So if the rest of, again, a bit like Pogba, if what's behind him and stuff isn't doing what they're doing, then they have zero effect on the game because they don't have the ball. They can't. He's not the sort of player that's going to run around making slide tackles, winning the ball back, and then starting things. That's not the best way to utilize him either. Yeah. The best thing to do is win the ball back and then give him the ball when he's closer to the goal. But he was dropping deep to try and get the ball. It was just all a bit muffled, and it's happened so many times this season with him. But I think most games he was coming up with the match-winning pass or match-winning goal. So you don't really. I'm not saying you shouldn't care about performance, but again, it was that sort of Mesut Ozil thing that you're just waiting for that one special moment, and that one special moment wins you a game. So it kind of says that, okay, you can go missing for a whole game, but if you're going to bring a special moment that's going to win a game, then it's kind of been worthwhile. And I get that about Fernandes. I just don't think he's the guy that's in a game all the time, but he's the one that brings special moments. And it was just, I don't know, it's just, they knew what to do, man. They were always going to stick 11 men behind the ball, break when they could. And you guys, like you said, you just didn't have, I don't even think you have that guy. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of Donny in a Man United shirt to know if he is that guy that can unlock those little spaces and unlock those passes. There's no one else in the team.
The one person I still feel like is the best at doing that in the club is Juan Mata. And when I say that, I hope people really deep what I'm saying here, because Juan Mata don't play. He hardly plays. He came off of the penalty shootout. Juan Mata is not a starter at Man United. I wouldn't even call him a squad player, because squad players get at least 10 games, even if he's coming off the bench.
Yeah, it's cheerleader things.
It is cheerleader things. for Football Manager fans, is emergency backup. He's if the squad's going through an injury crisis, you know what matter, you're still there, you still got a little bit of quality, you're intelligent coming. Like, in hindsight, I'm not gonna lie to you, for this game, we should have approached it with at least 5 creators on the pitch. Pogba.
The thing is, he's not even up, like, compared to other people, he's 33 years old.
There you go.
It's not even like he's mad old, and we didn't talk about him because he didn't make 10 league appearances, but looking at his thing, he made 9 appearances, 4 of them were as a sub, 1 goal and 2 assists, and I believe that the goal came in the last game or second to last game.
Yeah.
So the guy still has quality, and like you say, man, 100 minutes, no sub, and I was just thinking, come on, man, Juan Mata is playing against people from his country. It's not that mad pressing football, so he's gonna have time to do his thing, and you're not bringing him on earlier, man. It was odd.
That's why I feel like Ole lost the game. I was going to get there, but I'll just jump to that right now. Because, Bruno had a stinker in that game, man. The thing for me is, you cannot be afraid to make the big changes, the big moves. I referenced the fact that against Aston Villa, the game that we won 3-2 when Makeda scored, I think we took off Carlos Tevez, and was Ryan Giggs the other one? No, Ryan Giggs set up Makeda. There was someone else, a big name, that we took off the pitch, but Tevez was one of them, and we took off someone else for unknown Makeda, and I played about 2 or 3 games Danny Welbeck. So we took a chance in that, and I'm not saying that he has to go and look for Shoda Shotai or I hope I'm saying his name right. Apparently that's not his name, or Elanga, who had a very good game against Wolves. I want to ask you to bring them on and make the difference. But this is where you have to show a bit of bravery. If he had made these changes to go a lot more progressive, and we lost the game, I would forgive him. You know what I'm saying? But your first sub was taking off Mason Greenwood and bringing on Fred.
Yeah.
And then you took off Paul Pogba, who wasn't great either, don't get me wrong, for Daniel James. And literally in this show, we've already discussed the fact that he's been put in situations where his speed, his best attribute, cannot be used to its maximum effects because you bring him on against teams that sit. Your subs were for penalty shootouts, which means you already conceded by a certain time that the game was done. Rashford was poor, Bruno was poor. So I get it. If you take off Bruno, that's a creator. Rashford's not a creator. Greenwood's not a creator. McTominay's not a creator. Fred is not a creator. Bring on Donny van der Beek, who has a bit of creativity. Bring on Juan Mata, who's creative and intelligent, and he makes the right runs. Bring on Amad Diallo, because
that's what I was going to say. Bring on Diallo and Donny.
Yeah,
and Mata. That would be the 3 subs I made.
Diallo's 18 years old, but he's a winger who, when he's literally played for United so far this season, he showed a lot of intent going forward. In his debut, coming off the bench, he scored a goal, made a run. A small guy like that heading the ball over the goalkeeper. Direct can go inside, can use left foot, right foot, skillful, beats players. Use imagination. We will forget. You worked with Cyrus Ferguson, and Cyrus Ferguson said in an interview with Gary Neville, who you also obviously worked with him, and said, if we're drawing or losing the game, what's the point of a 4-4-2 structure? What's the point of two banks of four and all? You need to win the game. You came from that class, and it scares me because, again, there's a lot of United former players that came from that class and cannot manage for anything, but you were under that and you want to bring back this United way and all that. So
I keep saying this. I don't understand that anyone from that United or from that Arsenal or whoever, it's like they're trying so hard to go the opposite way.
Literally.
I'm like, you were literally the guy that used to come on as part of the fourth sub or the third sub, and make a 4 up front.
Yep.
And then you were the guy that used to win the games by getting onto those little flick-ons or whatever and winning games, being a super sub. You're known as a super sub. So
yeah,
if you know there is space for a super sub or an attacking player, why are you bringing on Fred for Greenwood? It didn't make sense. And we knew that they were playing for we knew that Villarreal wanted to play for penalties. And then from that, just made it look like you want to play for penalties now as well.
Yeah.
Which was, again, for most people, just a disappointing watch, man. Game wasn't great, to be fair. No, I don't think anyone enjoyed it apart from Villarreal fans.
And they were the better side. They were the better side, by the way.
Last thing I just want to say is, do you think Ole can take this team any further? Has he come to the end of the road?
The answer is no, he's done. Honestly, my thing about him wasn't even about league positions. My thing was, at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, whether people like to admit it or not, you are judged as a player and as a manager in football at the end of your careers by your accolades. So when you're at a big club, you need to bring those accolades. We're not going to sit here in 5 years' time and talk about, when United finished second place to show progress. We don't care about that. When we talk about Liverpool and when they won the league, no one speaks about when they finished sixth. Who cares about when they finished sixth? We don't give a shit. We don't care about that. We don't give a shit about that. We care about the fact that they improved their team by buying players. They got to some finals, but they finally got over the line in the Champions League and then won the Premier League. You went to 4 semi-finals and lost them.
1 sec, my AirPods have died.
Okay. You went to 4 semi-finals and you lost them, right? Then you went to an FA Cup quarter-final and you lost that. You get over the line, go to a final, and then you lose. It's not good enough. I'm sorry, it's just not good enough. It's appalling. It's actually very, very poor. Came up. So,
keep going.
You can hear me, yeah? All right, perfect. Yeah. So what I'll say is basically about the 4 semi-finals taking L's. Leicester took the L in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup, but you get over the line in the final, and you don't show the intent to win the game. That for me is cowardice. That's a coward's way out. I'm sorry, it's very coward to be a manager of the bigger club, of the club that's supposed to win the game, the club that's the favourite, and approach it the way you did. For me, it's appalling, and for me, he didn't do his homework because Villarreal looked like they did their homework from start to finish. And yeah, honestly, time's up. That's it. I don't know if you can hear me yet. No, you can't hear me yet. So, boy, I don't know what you might have said. So, what Oli was known for making subs bench, being able to analyze the game and knowing to, literally, he was known for that. Literally known for that as a striker. And I remember hearing him say that in an interview one time. And I now actually apply that when I coach strikers or whatever. I apply that to players. And I'm like, listen, watch the defenders, notice who the weak one is, notice how to beat him, take advantage of that, make sure your player finds you, and just do what you need to do. So if he could do that as a player, I am praying to all incarnations of God in any religion, please, a prayer for this guy, because at this point I'm just fed up. it's not good enough. And quite frankly, I've been done a while. Yeah, so he's not at my wheel anyway. That's as far as I'm concerned.
So who do you want? Who do you want to take over?
The only person, and this is a left field shout. We've seen his name everywhere, so I want to stay consistent with it. I do like him. His name is Ruben Amorim. He's a manager of Sporting Lisbon, and trust me, this isn't a hype because they won the league. If you check back his history, he hasn't been managing for very long. He's actually 39 years old now. So he retired from football not too long ago. But he's been at 2 previous clubs. The first club, again, I don't want to butcher the names, I'm not going to say it. But then Braga paid them a fee to bring him in as manager. And within his short tenure there, he was doing unheard of things at that club. Like Braga were improving at an alarming rate. And it wasn't a case of buying this, and this. It was the way he coached the players and improved the players. So their fans were seeing players play at levels of like maybe a 5 or 6 out of 10. And suddenly these guys at 5 or 6 were dropping 8 and 9s. And it wasn't a 3 or 4 week burst. It wasn't the manager bounce. It was football. He was improving them. So much so that Sporting Lisbon essentially paid a transfer fee to bring him to the club. And in his first full season, he has led them to a title after losing Bruno Fernandes. The guy for me is a brilliant coach. He plays the football. Again, I prefer winning football. I don't care if it's defensive or attacking, but he plays the football that a lot of United fans want to see. And he knows how to maximize players' talents. Goncalves, who is their top goal scorer this season, is primarily a central midfielder, and he got him playing right wing and improving his output of goals and assists. So for stat lovers, he knows how to actually put players into other positions and maximize their talents. So, for example, I think if he had Bruno Fernandes, would have been seeing Bruno Fernandes as a right winger rather than a central midfielder or an attacking midfielder. So, he's a bit of a left field shout because he hasn't been in it very long, and I know a lot of people won't really go to bat for him. But for me, I have faith in him that if he was to come to United, he will make sure that 1, he analyzes players properly, 2, the players will play at a much better level, and 3, you'll see a lot more consistency from the team. So I'm picking him.
And last question. Who would you sell if you had 200 million to spend?
So if I saw someone from the club right now?
Yeah.
Martial. He, for me, epitomizes what Man United are right now. False promise. I told you, expect nothing, win nothing. That's who I say, Martial. No?
I don't know, man.
Martial. I'm sorry, but it is for me anyway, personally.
Just him, yeah?
Not just him. I guess also who would I put one person in mind. But
yeah.
Okay, if it's a collective, Martial, Fred, Matic.
Okay, so you basically say what my man's got here.
What's he saying? Pogba, no, I wouldn't sell.
Oh, you would sell Pogba?
I actually wouldn't sell Brandon Williams or Mata either until we buy midfielders that can actually replace Mata and be creative.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sell him. Brandon Williams, again, I kind of have sympathy for someone who was one time playing a load of games, found form for United, and then out of nowhere was told we're going to see you for a while. No loan move, nothing. How many games did he play this season? And he's not playing under 23 games either. So I can't really get onto his case like that right now. If not, you're getting match time, you're not going to be sharp enough to play the games you want to play.
That has been a bit weird though, because he was, like you said, he was proper in the team. This season, he plays 4 games.
That's what I'm saying. So I can't. That's what I'm saying. Like I have a lot more understanding for these players in these situations.
Yeah.
Because before I used to be a lot more cutthroat about it. But
Mhm.
sometimes you just got to realize if you haven't played games consistently for a long time and you're thrusting into a game as a starter, I can't expect you to drop a 8 out of 10. I can't. It's
Yeah.
impossible. If you do it, fantastic. But I can't expect that from you because,
Mhm.
you know, I wanted to get a loan move. I wanted to get a loan move and actually play minutes. I think if you get a loan move and you play consistently and you show your level and we see what it is, then it's time to go. Few more names quickly. Phil Jones needs to go for the sake of himself, to be honest.
Boy, he's getting a new
Look,
contract, isn't it?
you wouldn't surprise me if he did. So he's one, and Eric Bailly is another one. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
but I'm not here for what's the word? Sentiment.
Sentiment, yeah.
I don't care about sentiment. If I can't rely on you to play at least 70% of the games of the season, get out of here. Lindelof, I would keep as a squad player. And last one, there's one more. I forgot. There's one more in my head that I've forgotten completely. Bloody hell.
Do you say you sell Fred?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Oh, De Gea. And I know that's crazy because I know I said that De Gea I prefer him to Henderson. But at this point, United fans are just disrespecting him. This is more of a personal thing for me personally.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
It's a disrespect thing at this point. They're being kind of rude about him.
Mhm.
Go be with your girl, be with your child in Spain where you've wanted to go back for a while now. Enjoy your life. You have spent 10 years at the club. You were bought for 18 million. You've paid that tenfold.
Mhm.
Go home, be with your family, enjoy Spain again, enjoy consistent good weather, and you're always welcome back at Old Trafford anytime you want to come. That's what it is for me.
Definitely. Yeah, nah. Kojo, thank you so much, man. Before we go, let us know where we can find you, man.
Yeah, so where can you find me? Free Midfield Podcast, bloody hell. Free Midfield Podcast on YouTube, Free Midfield Podcast on your Twitters, your SoundClouds, your Spotify's, and your Apple Music. Also Usman also from Usman Talks United has been kind enough to give me my own show, the Kojo show, on Wednesdays. It's not going to be every Wednesday, but as many Wednesdays as I can do. We discuss everything. It's not Man United. His channel is a Man United channel, but my show is for all football,
For all football, yeah.
European, international, South American, wherever the content is. And I think it's good. We get people want to come and talk. So everyone's always welcome. Big Gun, I'm definitely getting you on for a show sometime,
100%,
100%. Yeah, that's me personally.
Yeah, man. And everybody in the comments, man, thank you so much for rolling with us. It's supposed to be 45 minutes, but we're here for 122 for an hour and 22, man. But yeah, no, again, as always, man, speaking to Kojo, it's just it's great, man. Like he sees football how I see it, and it's just about results. We want to
That's
see
it.
results.
Mm.
We want to see, can you get from one place to the other end effectively. I don't want to be here about stats and ground covered and pressure and
X
XG and
G.
all of them. None of
Oh,
that, man. I just want to see my team win games in it, and we're both frustrated right now because our team are not winning enough games. Um, but yeah, next week I'm not sure if we're doing Chelsea or Liverpool. But like this week we've had Man United, so next week will be another team where we just rate their season, man. So make sure everybody subscribes to the channel, likes the video, and see you all soon, man.